any Harry Potter fans out there? Without further ado, please welcome your guest moderator for this panel, Mr. Craig Saylor from the Tacoma News Tribune. Thank you, Joe. For the last 10 years, we watched James and Oliver Phelps grow from teenagers into young men in the massively, phenomenally popular Harry Potter films. If you've never seen them in person, you're going to be a little bit surprised by their appearance today. They don't look like what they used to in those films. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Emerald City Comic Con, James and Oliver Phelps.
Hello.
Now, Oliver, unless they're playing an April Fool's joke on me, Oliver is right next to me, James is next to him. Yeah. What happened to your red hair?
Well, it actually went back in the bottle, thank God. Yeah, we actually dyed our hair when we were filming Potter, so on and off for just over 10 years, we learned the differences between certain hair dyes and how often you had to get your roots touched up, and really manly stuff, you know, and stuff like that. It was another learning experience on what we did.
Now, this is your first time to Seattle in the Pacific Northwest. Have you been able to sneak out of your hotel and look around the city?
Yeah, actually, we landed late on Friday night, and I brought my nice camera with me, so I was able to go and get some shots of the city, which looked quite cool, and like the Space Needle all lit up and the market and everything. And then last night, after yesterday's quite hectic day, Oliver and I managed to go and see the Sounders going down the stage. We've been to a few MLS games, but I have to say that was the loudest crowd we've had in the States. So the Sounders, obviously, they've got to go down too. So it was, as Jay said, we've been to a couple of MLS games out here, but it's not. We didn't. Obviously, the atmospheres aren't necessarily the same as they were back home at the Premier League games, but they were very much like that last night, so we had a good time.
Well, the climate here must remind you of back home.
Very much so, yeah. All of a sudden, I feel like I packed too much, you know. It's like, oh, that's where I'm going out, so it was fun.
All right, so now, because I don't want to ask any dumb questions, what are the dumb questions that all identical twins get asked?
Are you related? If you stub your toe, does your brother feel it? Do you have telepathic thoughts? By which I sometimes go, I'm thinking, like, sometimes I get it. Try what else.
What about which one's the evil twin?
We get that a bit.
Now, you were just 14 when you answered a casting call for the Harry Potter films. At what point did you, through the films, when it was that first film, did you realize that this could be a career for you?
I don't think until possibly the third movie, The Prisoner of Azkaban, when we actually considered it, you know, a career as such. But yeah, I mean, the first two movies we shot them back to back in 2000, 2001 and 2002. And then, yeah, the third one we shot at the end of 2003. So it was quite a quick pace. But yeah, I'd say the third movie, when we were about 17, 18, when we decided that it was something we could continue with.
And the way that movies work, especially big productions like Harry Potter, you may appear in a movie with an actor that you never even meet, but certainly you were working with a lot of big-time actors. When did you first realize that your co-workers were some of the most talented people in the acting world?
I think fairly early on, to be honest with you. I mean, even just little stuff like the first read-through we did, is when you see that all the cast together, and it's then you get a bit.
stop pointing, and you'll try not to point to it. But yeah, it's at that point you realise, okay, there's a lot of big people in this. But I think it was only later in the films when we got older, we learned to study more of how they do stuff, and we could even go up and ask them, if you're doing this, why do you do it like that? And it was great way to learn.
I just love every second Alan Rickman is on screen. He's just delicious. That's the only way. Every syllable that comes from his mouth is just so pointed.
Every moment they're on screen.
That's true. I didn't want to pander to them. So now, post Harry Potter, how important is it to you that you want to have separate careers? Or do you want to work together?
I'll let him go first.
It's about 50-50, to be honest with you. We kind of thought of initially like, right, we've done this, we've been acting together for 10 years, let's try and do completely separate stuff. And then going back to speaking to the other adult actors in the cast, like we talked to them a little bit about it, and they said, no, you've got to, obviously go after separate things, but if it's in your arsenal to use, go with it. So 50-50, hopefully we'll be working separately, and another project hopefully we'll be working together again.
If I'm a casting director and I have a part and I think, wow, one of those Phelps men would be perfect for this role, maybe I contact your, do you have the same agent?
Yeah.
So I contact your agent and say, give me one of those Phelps boys. Do you toss a coin, or how does that work?
I think they go alphabetically, really, so yeah.
or age, so So it's, I don't know. I mean, if it came to the two of us, we'd probably talk about it, and then probably toss a coin or play around the golf and everyone wins that. So something like that.
So now, Oliver, you're 13 minutes older.
Yes.
And you lord that over James?
Not as much as I thought it should do, to be honest. I feel in those 13 minutes on this planet longer, I've developed a lot more experience. But no, I don't really say too much about it.
He's got the wrinkles to prove it, I think.
Oh, okay.
So, how competitive are you with each other?
Yeah, a lot. Anything we do, we're very competitive. To the point where I think it just goes back to sibling, like growing up together. It's always been very much. Anytime we've played like a kids game together or playing sport, we'd have to be on opposing teams. It doesn't really work. Although we did play on the same team when we played golf a couple of weeks ago. That's the first time in years I can remember doing that. So it's quite. I think it's good though for us to be like that because it keeps us on our toes.
Now, certainly you're going for different looks, but back when you had a work the same look, did you do any of that classic switching roles that twins are sometimes identical twins are sometimes known for? Or were you good young men?
We were very good. Yeah, mostly. Although there was one story where we switched roles. This is totally untrue, by the way. We switched roles.
This is what we read. This is what we were told during an interview.
Yeah. So the interview starts off. Okay, so you've done loads of switching parts and everything. We're like, once, twice maybe in the rehearsal. No, but you switch parts. They found out towards the end of filming had to reshoot the whole movie again because of you two. How do you feel about that? Like, what? But no, I mean, we never really tried it. We probably did once, twice maybe on the first film, and then we realised that this is actually a multi-million-dollar thing.
Let's talk about the final Harry Potter film.
Spoiler.
It's on DVD now, though.
What was it like you're looking down on your brother who's playing a character, but was there any sort of, was it just another damn set, but how emotional was it, if any, for you?
No, that was probably the worst day on film with me, of all the times we've been filming, because obviously to get to that that emotional point, you have to relate it to something in your life, so it's pretty easy to relate to it. Yeah, it wasn't pleasant at all. It wasn't good. And I was told that what I assumed it would be a closed set, and there's more people than in this room right now watching me cry like a little girl. So yeah, that wasn't very good. And he just sat on the floor, so it was all right.
It's probably the easiest day for me.
Well, going back to the beginning, how was it decided who was going to play which role in the Harry Potter?
We didn't actually know until we turned up the read-through. So before you shoot a movie, normally the whole cast get in a big room and read through the script. And we got to the read-through, and we still didn't know who was Fred or George. We knew we both were Fred and George, but we didn't know who was going to be who. And essentially about 5 minutes before we all sat down to read, and we were sort of like, don't know who's who yet. And we said to Janet Hudson, who's the head casting director, we were like, Janet, so, who's Fred and who's George? And she's like, oh, that's really good, that's really good. No, Janet, who's Fred and who's George? So once she clicked that we weren't playing around, she was, okay, so she went over to Chris Columbus, David Heyman and J.K. Rowling. And I like to think that they were like, oh, did you get the number of the big board meeting we had about this? And she came back and she just said, James, you're Fred, Oliver, you're George, and that was it for 11 years.
Did you get the right roles?
I think so, yeah. I mean, they were, the difference in the characters really came through, I think, later on. So we were just happy to be there, really. It was just a nice way to ease into it.
Do people, because you appear differently now in real life than you did in the films, can you walk the streets without much harassment, or?
It depends really. I mean, especially with the hair being different, that helps, because I think people are looking for the orange and pink. Yeah, it was a bit, I suppose when we finished filming it was okay, because when we finished out of it, and then when the film came out last year, it was quite surreal. Everywhere someone would notice something, but it's nice. I mean, it's nothing about the Potter fans. They're not very snap all the way out. It's just good fun, and we have good banter with people. Really, so it's nice. But I think we always say we've got the best of both. Really. We're part of this huge thing, and playing good guys to people is nice to us.
I guess what I want to know is, this is a hard question to ask, do you consider yourselves as funny as the Weasley twins in real life?
No. They get I don't think, Fred and George don't seem to, they're just on it all the time. I mean, we like to have a practical joke more than a couple of people we know. But at the same time, we know when to turn it off, I think, and Fred and George still, they made a business out of it. So I don't think we're as on it as they were.
Do you think that the Weasley twins are more prominent in the books or in the movies?
Yeah, I'd say more in the books. Yeah, obviously for the movies they had to cut so much down, and it's not relative to the Harry story. I suppose that's why they took out certain parts about Fred and George. But I mean, we were just fortunate to be in the whole thing. Really, they were thereabouts, and really happy to play those characters.
Do you miss the whole Harry Potter adventure, or are you eager to get on with a new chapter in your lives?
A bit of both. It was bittersweet when we finished it, because we had such fun making the movies, and we're all good mates with all the cast. Obviously, we've been with each other for almost 10, 11 years, we've formed really strong friendships. So, yeah, we miss doing all that kind of stuff, but at the same time, if you're going to go out, you might as well go out on one of the biggest releases ever. And the premiere for the last movie in London was a Guinness World Record. It was the biggest red carpet in history. There reckon about 30,000 people there. So if you're going to finish, you might as well go out like that.
I think on the day of Potter released, it was the top 10. At one point, the top 10 trending things on Twitter was Harry Potter related. So that was pretty incredible. As Jay said, if you're going to go out on the biggest one there.
So, Oliver, what's your next project?
The next project, I'm down to do, I think, of the Latin Quarter, but that's still when's that going to start, when's it not. But we've actually been in California about developing a load of new projects, shows and stuff like that, so we'll keep everyone up to date with those, but they're quite different. Some are quite not very comical at all, which some people may find a bit odd, and others are just practical characters.
So these are projects you're working on together?
Okay. Well, yeah. One of them is and two of them aren't.
Okay. Well, what's your next solo project, James?
One of those. I actually did just a tiny short movie before I came out here from London, just to kind of keep on it, and actually I had to play a stand-up comedian, which was without doubt the scariest audition I've ever done, because you had to go into a room and make two people laugh, and I had to prepare a 5-minute stand-up routine, and they literally just sat there and they walked in and they were like, next. And so I walk in, hi, hello. Anyway, I got the first laugh, and that was fine. But as I was coming out, the guy in front of me was like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I talked to the director later on, and said, oh yeah, we have to get him in as the nerd. They actually wrote a part for him as the nervous guy.
So you wrote your own material?
That and borrowed a few stand-up routines which I know from back home.
Any you want to relate to? No.
Okay.
All right, well, let's open this up now to questions from the audience. I'm sure you told that we have 2 microphones on either side. We'll take just alternate questions. So let's start over here.
Hi. First, I want to say happy character birthday to you guys. Sorry, I'm really nervous. Second, thank you guys so much for your work. It's changed my life. So, sorry about my question to you is, if you guys had each been able to choose to play different roles in movies, or even characters that were in the books but not in movies, who would you choose and why?
I think being in Screen, I've always thought about playing either Fred or George, just because they're the ones I relate to the most. I don't think there's any of the characters I'd like to be honest. Thinking more and more about it. Maybe Peeves from the books.
Thank you.
All right, over here.
One thing, happy birthday to the Weasley twins, since today is their birthday for the characters. I wanted to know, would you like to be immortalized in illusion knitting?
I'm sorry?
Illusion knitting. I have a shawl that somebody